afternoon, friends. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. And let me get this at the right place where I wanted to start at here. So maybe I should say good afternoon, Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live, starting off here because on the recorded message, this is where I wanted to start at. But I'm going to also double check, make sure we are live. Last time I tried to go live, it did not work. And so I need to make sure that it's working this time. And it appears to be that, nope, it's still not working once again. So I don't know what the problem is on that. Let me go to OBS. Let's just put stop streaming on there because that's not working. And I'm going to start over. Here we go. Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Burnett with Israeli News Live. Today is July 31st, 2025. And you guys, I didn't actually cover directly the string of earthquakes other than doing some shorts on it that was happening the other day. Crazy things were happening here at the same time that was all going off. Thank God we didn't have any major tsunamis. Russia, though, 8.8 earthquake that just tore that region up. And they have had so many earthquakes. Before I go into this very serious story here about Israel and what's going on in Israel here, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do it at the end of the broadcast because it's more important what's happening here. Israel at war, day 665. It seems almost illogical that Israel could be allowed to do the evils that they are doing to the Palestinian people of Gaza 665 days later, over 2 years now. Well, not quite over 2 years, close to 2 years, I should say, that this war has been going on, and no one has put a stop to Israel's genocide of Gaza. And a lot of people are going to hate me saying that from the very beginning. But let me let you know what you're going to see here in just a little bit here. Not only are you going to see Israelis protesting, you're going to see a Green Beret soldier that he tells this horrifying story about this little boy who kissed him for giving him food, only to be murdered by Israeli snipers shortly thereafter. Even John B. Wells, I've known John for years. John has come out and exposing here before the Knesset, the very thing that I reported on, I think it was October 7th or October the 8th, I had reported because I had an IDF soldier sent through a friend of mine in Israel a written statement that the Sirens Brigade had been told to stand down. Well, now it's coming out in the Knesset with the actual audio footage to go with it. And of course, you got crazy settlers just gloating on the fact that they're going to get to go stomp on the remains of those precious souls, those little children's bodies that are just trapped in this rubble there. And this man here, he is an amazing guy, Alan Lee Green, an Israeli who is spearheading the protest about the deaths happening and the starvation happening in Gaza. This man here, he's got 10,000 Israelis and Palestinians, Israeli citizens marching together in Tel Aviv on a regular basis. God bless him. We're trying to get him on here to Israeli News Live to share his story as well. And of course, you're going to be reading about how that Steve Witkoff and Mike Huckabee, what a disgrace these men are to Christianity, in fact, for allowing such a genocide and doing absolutely nothing about it. Let's get into the story here. The Times of Israel, Trump said to warn Jewish donor that MAGA world starting to hate Israel. Can you blame them? Can you blame? And the sad thing is, the Israeli people have been almost under spellbound, like what Hitler did to his own people. He had the people under spellbound as they genocide the Jewish people. From my mother's side of the family, my mother's father told me about how they came to America illegally to avoid Hitler's reign of terror. I mean, think of that. Family members from my mother's side, distant family members from me, but died in Dachau, Auschwitz, So we understand as they call this, anti-Semitism. But when when Netanyahu and his coalition, Ben Gvir, Smotrich, and all these thugs are doing the exact same thing that Adolf Hitler did, You have brought the worst shame on the memory of those people that have died in the Holocaust. But it's no wonder, as I've shared this book many times before, Holocaust Victims Accused, right? You know it. You know the book very well, right? Um, this is a book where these amazing men right here, some of these guys right here, who clearly accused the different. This is Michael Dove Weisendale and Rabbi Samuel David Ungar, who exposed the plot to murder Jewish people. And I don't call people rabbi. I apologize for that. It's just a slip of the tongue there. You know, I hate using that word because every time you say it, you're calling that man your master. And no, only Jesus Christ is our master. One rabbi, he said there is, and that was Jesus Christ. Anyway, though, I'm so glad to see that this is happening here. U.S. President Donald Trump recently warned a Jewish campaign donor that his MAGA base was beginning to turn on Israel. That was according to the Financial Times. My people are starting to hate Israel. Trump is quoted as having told the unnamed donor recently, citing a Mideast expert, also unnamed, with contacts inside the Trump administration. The report describes the donor as prominent. There are people in the White House who are watching this narrative develop in the right wing in the MAGA world that is very anti Israel, very anti Jewish, the expert is quoted as saying. And see, listen, we're not anti Jewish. We're not even anti-Israelis. We believe that Israelis have a right to live in this land as well. But we are anti-genocide. We are anti-throwing Palestinians out when they are entitled to this land just as much and are just as indigenous, if not more so, than Netanyahu's coalition are. So we do support a two-state solution, 100%. All right, Alan Lee Green, listen to what he says right here in this video here.
אנחנו כאן, אלפי יהודים ופלסטינים דורשים לעצור את הערבה, לעצור את הרג הילדים, לעצור את הזוועות בעזה, כי אנחנו יודעים שביטחון זה לא הרג ילדים, שערבה זה לא הגנה עצמית. אנחנו כאן דורשים לעצור את כל הזוועות שאנחנו מבצעים בעזה, כי זה הצבא שלנו וזה הממשלה שלנו שגוזרים את דינם של ילדים ושל חפים מפשע ושל גם החטופים. אז אנחנו כאן אומרים די, הגיע הזמן לעצור את פשעי המלחמה, הגיע הזמן לסרב, פשוט לסרב להרג ולהשמדה. די.
I agree. By the way, die means enough. It doesn't mean death like you would say in English, just so you know that. This here is the little boy. As you can see, he kisses the hand of the soldier, and the soldier is gonna. I'm gonna let you hear it in his own words. There, he comes up for a gift of food from this soldier, and he says that he didn't have very much, but he gave him what he could. And I want you to hear in his own words as he shares this harrowing story and just horrifying what they did to this little boy. The IDF did. Now, the man in the video here, he is the Green Beret soldier that tells you about this little boy. Listen in.
Look at this boy. And when he got there, he thanked us for the remnants and the small crumbs that he got. And he sets them down on the ground because I was kneeling at this point, and he sets his food down and he places his hands on my face, on the side of my face, on my cheeks, these frail, skeleton, emaciated hands, dirty. And he puts them on my face and he kissed me. He kissed me and he said, thank you, in English. Thank you. And he collected his items and he walked back to the group. And then he was shot at with pepper spray and tear gas and stun grenades and bullets shot at his feet and in the air. And he runs away scared. I was on the inside of the site. So there's berms that surround the site. So I couldn't see outside of the site. So the last group of people, women and children and small children and kids and children and babies, are leaving the site. And as they're leaving the site and they get to the next intersection, I hear machine gun fire. It startled me because I didn't know what was going on. So I ran up to the berm. You see the berm behind him there. I ran up to the berm so I could look. And I run up to the berm and I get down and I'm kind of like in a in a covered position, and I'm looking like, oh, what's going on? I thought we were being attacked. And the IDF were shooting at the crowd, and I'm shooting into this crowd. And Palestinians, civilians, human beings are dropping to the ground, getting shot. And Amir was one of them. Amir walked 12 kilometers to get food, got nothing but scraps, thanked us for it, and died. That's what we're doing.
If that doesn't break your heart, I don't know what will. The little boy had to walk 12 kilometers only to die. I mean, how much longer? There's the Burma that he's talking about right there. How much longer are we going to tolerate this? And now they're trying to make it illegal. Netanyahu wants to make it against the law in the United States and other parts of the world to say free Palestine. What's wrong with freeing Palestine? They've been held prisoners far too long. And when people talk about, what do you condemn what happened on October 7th? I sure do. Sure I do. You know what, though? I condemn the Israelis for allowing it to happen. I want you to listen to what John B. Wells posted on his site here. Israeli soldiers testified to the Knesset committee. We received orders from the Golani Brigade commanders on October 7th to cancel our patrols along the Gaza border from 5:20 a.m. to 9 a.m. Now you can see the subtitles. So I'm going to just play you the subtitles.
6:30 בבוקר, 7 באוקטובר, אתה במוצב.
For us, October the 7th starts before 6:30.
אצלנו ה-7 באוקטובר מתחיל לפני 6:30.
And by the way, I'm listening to him. He's saying exactly that.
אני הייתי לוחם במחלקת מרגמות.
I was a soldier in the mortar platoon of the Golani Brigade, 13th Battalion.
גולני, ובאותו לילה, אני...
And that night, myself, Yotam Sarul,
יותם סור, הסמל שלי תמר בן יהודה, זיכרונו לברכה.
My sergeant, Tamar Ben Yehuda, may he rest in peace.
שלושתנו עושים לילה לבן.
The three of us were pulling an all-nighter.
הרשינו לעצמנו בשבתות וחגים במיוחד, לעשות לילה לבן.
On Sabbaths and holidays, we've let ourselves pull an all-nighter until the dawn to stand to.
לכוננות עם שחר, ואתם יודעים...
And the motor platoon have time to sleep until the next stand
זמן
too.
לישון, מחלקת מרגמות, עד לכוננות הבאה. אז ב-5:20 בבוקר.
So at 5:20 a.m., he actually says so at 5:20 in the morning.
אנחנו יושבים ליד הקשר כדי לא להעיר מאזין.
We're sitting by the radio so as not to awake the radio operator.
והסמג"ד שלי, ניר בוינפלג, שגם הוא נפצע קשה.
And the deputy battalion commander, Nir
ברוך
Bonafield,
השם הוא שרד.
who also was seriously injured, suddenly gets on the radio with a strange message.
פתאום עולה בקשר בהודעה מוזרה. כל התחנות, לא יודע למה, לא
All stations, I don't know, אני לא יודעת.
יודע איך, משהו בסגנון הזה. אין סיבה.
I don't know how, but let me back it up for a second. Something along those lines.
בסגנון הזה, אין סיור בגדר,
No patrol. He actually said something like this is what he said, not something along those lines. No patrol on the fence until 9 a.m.
בבוקר.
Or till 9 in the morning. What time was this?
5:20 בבוקר.
5:20, excuse me, 5:20 in the morning. Now you're going to hear the actual audio transmission from that soldier that gave the order. All stations are hold their positions. So in terms of ground forces and RF, we don't have anything significant. The brigade issued a directive for our forces, getting a situation assessment until 9 a.m. No vehicle is approaching Burma, or no vehicle is to approach Burma. I'll say it again. Until 9 in the morning. Sorry, pending the situation assessment. No, wait a minute. I want to make sure what he's saying as well. No vehicle is to go down to Burma. We're in the rear staging areas. A brigade level arrangement. I don't, and he does say, I don't know why. I don't ask too many questions. Wait a minute. I don't think he says it quite like that. Hold on. Tell me die. Tell me die. Okay. It's like he's not, hang on. I don't ask too many questions. That's the directive. That's what we do. Let me die. In other words, it's like, it's enough. A little before it all begins. Tamar gives us this look like, what? Ma? And you know, we're simple soldiers, just combatants. Well, what he means when he says combatants, in other words, they're fighters. They're infantry, not commanders or officers who can ask questions. Right? To an order from the deputy battalion commander, we take the order and don't ask questions. Routine passing of an order. Sure enough, well, he actually says exactly an hour later, suddenly sirens. Now, this guy here speaks out. Wait a minute, I want to make sure I'm listening to what he says. Well, he talks fast. I tell you the truth. I've been living with this since October the 7th, and I was very afraid to talk. And when I got to the Knesset, it was after a period when I asked some senior army officers what actually happened there. And there were some who initially told me, listen, there was a sniper threat with the Nakba fence, so we didn't want to send soldiers, so they wouldn't get hit. And then over time, it kind of dawned on me, and I said, wait, if there's a sniper threat, how can it be that I, who am only 200 meters from the fence, don't know that? No, boy, isn't that a good point? I said, if there's a sniper threat, how can it be that I am only 200 meters from the fence, don't know there's a threat? How can it be that my friends are fighting without a vest? And their underwear and socks. And nobody knows that something is happening? We're only 200 to 300 meters from the fence. And that was on my mind again. And really, I was suddenly invited to the Knesset. I felt that this was the real opportunity to open this subject and talk about it and actually understand what happened there. It looked like you're saying, to a lot of people, it sounds strange. And what actually happened there? And we're going back to this again. And I'll be honest, Hila. I've been living with some kind of hole in my brain since October the 7th. There's something in my heart feels to me that, listen, I don't know what there was. I don't know what was there. I want to, let me back it up. I want to understand what happened. And by the way, I'm keeping the volume up on them speaking because I want Israelis to hear this as well. I want to understand what happened. Like everyone, like Kulam, okay? The Kulam, like the whole world, not just everyone, the whole world is what he's saying, like Kulam. Look, the deputy battalion commander wasn't a sniper threat. Because the deputy battalion commander says, I have no idea why. And no why. And as a sniper threat happens many times. He says this is a real time. By the way, this is from a news broadcast. He's on channel 11 in Israel. At 5:20 in the morning. It's not like someone told him to say that. He received an order without an explanation. And it's right. So we as soldiers, when we hear this thing, and of course we follow orders. It did sound a little strange to us. But soldiers in the field, and we've been on this line for almost half a year. And a few losses here and there. You know, from a loss to October the 7th. Cool. Losses. Yes, from breaches of order. Right, from breaches of order to a situation. To events like those of October the 7th. We're talking here about, something that's surreal, that's very, very extreme. To think that one day we would get to this. Have you talked amongst yourselves since? After it was published? Whoever was there, you talk amongst yourselves, the rest of you? So of course we talked. We talked about it many times. And we tried to look into it. And I told you what all sorts of military people told me. I thought many times about talking about it. Not talking about it. And at some point I also started to deny my own logic. Wait, if they tell me there's no sniping, as you say, how is there a threat? If he said I don't know why and how, and also I said maybe I don't remember well, maybe it is that, and suddenly the recording came out. I have a responsibility here. I can't talk about something like that on television. And there are consequences to what I say. So suddenly this thing popped up. And this recording was published. And what can I tell you? Like me, like you. Like all the people of Israel. I want to understand what happened on October the 7th. I lost many, many friends. I was seriously injured. Every day I meet with the families, with the parents. And really, you don't know how painful it is to handle it and support them. And people see me, Shalom, the one who lifted the wounded. They don't know how many things I'm trying to do. I woke up to a war every day. I'm retrieving to reinvent myself. I'm trying to reinvent myself. I'm trying to help these families. Every day is a war in itself. Also fighting without a leg. You mean about that? To live a new life. Yes, the injury, exactly. And also to reinvent yourself. Exactly. To move forward in the life, to do what, to dwell on this. In the end, I was given my life. I also need to move on with my life.
בחיים, אני לא יכול להישאר תקוע
I can't stay stuck in the same place.
באותו מקום, אין לי רגל, איזה מסכן.
I'm missing a leg. Poor me.
אני רוצה להבין מה קרה שם,
I
ופתאום...
want to understand. We're almost done. I'm sorry this is long, but it needs to be said. I want to understand what happened there.
רוצה להבין מה קרה שם, ופתאום הדבר
And suddenly, this thing that came out, this
הזה
statement,
שיצא, התצהיר הזה, זה
it scares me. It scares me a lot.
מפחיד אותי מאוד. אני
I hope I have clear answers later
מקווה
on
שיהיה לנו תשובות יותר ברורות בהמשך, ולא לקפוץ
and not to jump to
למסקנות,
conclusions
ולא להדאיג מדינה
and to not worry on the entire
שלמה,
country.
אבל כן חשוב
But it's very important that there's an unequivocal answers here.
שיהיה פה תשובות חד משמעיות, ומי שצריך
And whoever needs to pay the price,
לשלם את הדין, שישלם את הדין. כל כך
should
הרבה
you pay? So many murdered, kidnapped.
נרצחים, חטופים. זה משהו שאני
It's something that I, as a
בתור
soldier
חייל ששירת בגזרת
who served in Gaza
עזה,
sector,
אני אומר לך,
I'm telling you, for a very little thing, we would jump to the fence. And what he means by that, slightest little thing that touched that fence, they're ready to pounce.
על כל פיפס קטן קפצנו לגדר, על כל דבר
For every little thing.
קטן. זה מפחיד אותי.
It scares me. It scares me to think what happened there.
מפחיד אותי לחשוב מה קרה שם.
What happened there? This is him, the same guy, testifying before the Knesset. Do you think these guys like what he's saying? I don't know what this guy's thinking here to the far left. I hope he's for him. But he's sure being stared down because he's telling the truth. So, John B. Wells, thank you for sharing that with us here. This here also, this is what's going down right now. They want to build on the ruins of these dead bodies.
1,000 families, you will see them today marching, are ready to move now, here, as the situation is now, and to live in tents now. We are ready with our children to move into the Gaza area right away.
Gaza belongs to Israel, to Jews. So the Harvey take our land. So
the first woman on there was on Piers Morgan, and she's the one that said, Piers actually asked her, he said, you don't give a damn. Sorry, pardon me there, but you don't give a damn about those children, do you? And she said, you have said it. Listen here as we close here with Alan Lee Green as he talks, again, this time in English.
We are here blocking now the roads in Tel Aviv. We will not agree to starvation of people. We will not agree to killing children. This is done by our government and our name. We must take the responsibility. As a society, we must choose, do we celebrate death or do we celebrate the killing of children, or do we wake up and fight it because the fascist government in our country is leading people to die out of starvation, killing children to be killed? We cannot agree with that. We are here.
So proud of this man for standing up like he's doing for the children of Gaza. God bless him. And maybe Mike Huckabee and Steve Witkoff could learn something from Israelis that are protesting this. Instead of giving you the sob stories of, October the 7th, the most horrible thing happened. Yes, it was very horrible. And you know good and well, there's no excuse for that kind of stand down. None at all. Let me share with you real quick a photo here. And this is on our YouTube channel. It's always there. You always see it. Every time you come to our YouTube channel, you're seeing these type photos here. This one right here, I want you to be able to see. Hopefully I can show it to you a little bit better here. It doesn't want to show up like that there. But this photo right here is from 2004 when I was in the suicide bombing then in Israel during the Second Intifada. And that swarm of people was there within less than 5 minutes. every person you see there, that's only 5 minutes later. And you tell me, that's IDF, Israeli military police, even the people that deal with the ordinances that happened there, they're on the scene there in less than 5 minutes. Sederot, you could drive a car from Jerusalem to Sederot and be there in 45 minutes, and you tell me it took 6 hours? And in that report you just heard, 3 hours. There's no excuse. None. None. Stop the killing, and stop it now. I'm Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live.